What a time to be alive. A child can hold the power of 1,000 computers in his hand. And it must be good for his developing mind to grow up with access to so much info and media. Futurist Ray Kurzweil has defined the most important prediction of the 21st century as the singularity. That point when artificial intelligence can equal or supersede human intelligence. What could go wrong? If you read Harari's book Homo Deus, you'll see the economics and politics as only a historian could. The super rich will be able to afford all manner of neurological and biological enhancements, thus increasing their dominance over the 99%, who must live on universal basic income as most jobs disappear. Who read Orwell's 1984? Huxley's Brave New World? Very different dystopias, where one was ruled by the control of pleasure. In college, a professor handed me Neil Postman's 1985 book, Amusing Ourselves to Death. Postman made clear that Huxley had won the race of dystopias. We were becoming prisoners of entertainment and escape. Postman cared deeply about how children learn and saw the conclusion we could not escape. TV culture was training young minds to be passive sponges for all entertaining knowledge of the adult world, with no requisite learning. It's a great theory, but it certainly didn't come true, right? Look how in the age of the internet and the smartphone, kids are completely absorbed in the study of science, history, languages, math, and big questions about who we are. I'm being facetious, of course. I did a podcast on smartphone addiction after two big shareholders of Apple wrote a letter in January calling out the iPhone maker for not doing enough to protect kids. Who saw the film Into the Wild? Based on a true story about a college kid who gave away everything and moved into the Alaskan wilderness. I was that same kind of tree-hugging kid in 1990. I dropped out and hitchhiked to California in search of a commune. Why? Because I hated where society and technology were going, and I had to protest. I had some radical ideas about going back to small, low-tech farming villages as the best way to raise kids. My project failed, but I lived to tell. When I came back down to earth, I intensified my quest for answers. In a 2-year period, I read over 200 books to find the truth in science, religion, evolution, history, economics, technology, and neuroscience. In 1992, I had an epiphany that I must learn to co-create with technology because it was never going away. It was, in fact, what it meant to be human. We were always going to be inventing new problems and solutions in a never-ending story. I wanted to teach, but ended up creating a career in financial markets. Immersed in technology companies creating the future like Google, Apple, and NVIDIA, I still wonder, what will a 10-year-old kid do whose parents hand her a smartphone to drown in social media nonsense? Will she ever have a quest and be inspired to pick up 100 books, or even 10? Or will her typical day look like this until she's 16 or even 20? It's the most important question in my book, because if Harari's Homo Deus is one likely path that civilization is headed for, we've still got some time to make a difference. This guy again, my podcast from May of 2017. It's not just about runaway technology, it's also about the thought leaders in our culture who use it to influence us. Many of them don't have a full education either. Ann Coulter doesn't think evolution is all that important. Now, I'm no brain surgeon, but I stand for neuroscience as lightning that crumbles millennia of beliefs, superstitions, and dogma. As a currency and stock trader, I learned firsthand about the brain's biases and blind spots. I concluded that your brain wasn't made to trade. And watching politics now, it's obvious it wasn't meant to do a lot of other things either. A liberal education used to value the humanities and science. Now, liberal is an attack word. The world is more confusing than ever for teenagers. They are besieged by mindless distraction on one side and ideological rhetoric on the other. So, what's my solution? We need to use the tech we have now to engage and inspire the curiosity machines of young minds. My dream is to build a technology company that immerses teens in the world of ideas using AR, VR, AI, and whatever else it takes to turn on their curiosity engines. If we make books come alive with experiential technology, we may just inspire them to stay one step ahead of the robots and the media machines.